statement, and then we will get a mic to you as usual. Coach?
Guys, hey, first of all, just recapping the game, getting a chance to go back and watch it. Really pleased with a lot of the effort that our kids played with in all three phases of the game. The great thing about the video is you get a chance to come back and have a chance to correct a lot of things too. A lot of positives, but a lot of things that we can be a lot better. Special teams, how we function, coaching staff, and everybody. Obviously, the kickoff return for a touchdown, have an opportunity to fit that a lot better than we did and make a play that doesn't change the momentum in the football game. Defensively, a ton of positives, the way we were able to stop the run, but there's some simple things that we can do in a lineman assignment to get off the field quicker than we did. And offensively, although we were efficient in the run game, there's still opportunities for us to be a whole lot better and some things in the pass game that we can clean up as well. So excited that we got a result that we did. At the same time, you come back in the building on Monday, and it's about how we get better. The challenge is always going to be how fast we can be as good as we can. And I think our guys had the right mentality coming into the building today and going through our Monday. Got a big test this week, South Carolina. Good football team. You look at how they've played inside the conference already against two really quality opponents. For us offensively, we got to do a great job of running the football and being balanced. Defensively, got to control and dominate the line of scrimmage. Special teams will be a huge part in this football game. They've found ways to change the game on special teams. We got to do a great job and minimize their opportunities and plays there. I mentioned it earlier, but our crowd has been phenomenal in the two road games. Ton of support, ton of people showing up, great energy the last couple of weeks. Great opportunity this week with a big football game for us, being back inside of Neyland Stadium here, being gone a couple of weeks. Can't wait to see that thing packed out and create a really good home field advantage. It's a unique opportunity for us fans and as a program to honor one of the greats that has come through here too, Al Wilson on Saturday, being able to recognize him. Going into the College Football Hall of Fame this year, a day that's designated towards him. Just in the short time of me being here, getting an opportunity to know him, his passion and his care for this program is real. His impact as a player obviously was real. Love nothing more than hearing some of the stories of him as a great leader and obviously a great player inside of our program while I was here, listening to a bunch of his teammates in particular as guys came back in spring football. Might have been around the spring football game and just getting a chance to hear those guys. So with that, I'll open it up to questions from you guys.
Questions? We'll start with Adam, then we'll go to Alexis.
Josh, you've talked a lot about the last 48 hours, obviously, before a game. What's the origin of that? Is that something that you picked up to emphasize as a player or a coach over the years? Where did that come from?
I just think finishing the process out the right way. Tuesday and Wednesday are heavy work days for us. Thursday's a walkthrough. Friday we pick up the speed on the practice field, being engaged. If you're a 2 and not getting the rep, being lined up, getting the mental rep, it's impossible to get everybody every rep with every call on either side of the ball against all the multiple formations or defenses that you're going to see. And so being completely dialed into that process, not tight, but dialed in when it's time to work. Being on time, doing the right things as far as what you look like when we're traveling. Our meetings at the hotel, being on time to pregame meal, all those things play into keeping the most important thing. And when you're in the football setting, it's football.
But you didn't pick that up from somewhere else. So not every coach says the last 48 hours. That's kind of your thing.
It's been our thing here because we haven't been as consistent as we need to be, and as you point those things out, that's the reality of where I think we're at as a program. Our practice habits have continued to get better. We still got to improve there, but the last 40 hours have been a point of emphasis for everybody in our program, pointing out some things that weren't right this past week too.
And sorry, one more on that. Where do you see in a game where does it show up that the last 48 was good, and where does it show up the last 48 was bad?
It shows up in the little things. Some of those are big things that you guys see. Drop ball, misprotection. Some of them are little details that you can't tell. Hat placement, hands, 6-inch step, the way we communicate on the sidelines. There's a rhyme and reason behind everything that we're doing in our program. And, those things play out on game day.
Josh, the players have been saying that they believe in what y'all are doing here. They understand what they can do, the upside of this thing. When you see, you were a player yourself, when you go out there and have a game, an SEC game where you score 62 points, is that something that can really put off a light bulb for players? Like, if you execute at this pace, this is what can happen?
The end result of the performance on Saturday, the good in all three phases, right? People, I think, paid attention to the offense, but the defense played a outstanding football game too. The result is awesome because of the work that the players have been putting in. Sometimes that's not recognized or seen by fans or the TV audience when you play a football game. But the process, as we continue to grow in it, should lend itself to more consistent performances. Absolutely, the performance from the other day should create buy-in from our players and trust in what we're doing as a football staff and in everything that we're doing, from strength and conditioning to nutrition to our on the field, calls, playbook, whatever it might be.
Eric?
Looking at South Carolina, what are some of the challenges they do offensively and defensively for you guys?
On the defensive side of the football, they've been really good up front. They've created turnovers. They attack the football. We got to do a great job of taking care of it the last 2 weeks. That's been really important, done a good job. There's things that we've pointed out on film where the ball is loose, and you got to be ready for a defender to be there, and we can be more consistent, better with the football in our hands. Offensively, we got to do a great job of dominating the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be critical in this football game, force them into third and long situations, and then be able to play really good third down defense. And then that can be, base 4 down, or it can be bringing pressure, or it can be drop 8 too. I didn't think we executed early in the football game the way we're capable of on third down.
Ben and Rob.
Just what have you seen from Hendon over the last couple of games? Seems like he's really starting to hit a stride, both from an efficiency standpoint and taking care of the football.
Has been better taking care of the football with the ball in his hands. Some of our meshes have been better, more consistent. I think that happens as you get more time on task together with the same guys. I think as much as anything, great comfort and understanding of what we're doing, the tempo. He's been really in control of what's going on at the line of scrimmage. Been really good with his eyes, and that's allowed him to be really decisive with the football. Was extremely accurate the other day. A lot of that stems from eyes in the right place, seeing things really clearly. That allows you to get your body in the right spot.
Coach, that's the most we've seen from Laneith Whitehead since he's been here. Just talk about his performance, if you could, and what that means from going forward.
Yeah, I think maybe a week or two ago I talked about a guy that was banged up in the off season, was rehabbing with our strength and conditioning staff, had a really good summer, and just has steadily grown throughout training camp in the early part of the season. I think it's a great lesson for guys inside of our program that sometimes things don't happen exactly when you want them to. You continue to work, you continue to strain, you continue to learn on the field and off the field, and eventually your opportunity is going to come, and when you get that opportunity, you're going to be ready for it. I thought he did a really good job the other day of pressing the line of scrimmage. Has the ability to make some guys miss more on the back end early in the football game when he was in there, but did a really good job in pass protection too. So I like a lot of what we saw from Laneith the other day.
Rick and Brent.
Coach Don Evans had a couple touchdowns there in the first quarter. How important just has he been to this team and what it wants to do on offense? And then also, is there any update on Jabari Small?
Tyon continues to grow. Did some really good things first week, got nicked up and wasn't able to go for a week there. I think he continues to grow in his understanding. If you watch him at the running back position from the other day, man, he's doing a great job of being on his track and pressing the line of scrimmage. And that allows, if you got a double team between your left guard and left tackle, to press vertically and get on the second level. And that creates space for the running back when he gets outside. I thought he did a really good job as fronts changed of understanding how things would be blocked and pressing it and, hit it inside when it was supposed to, and when he had an opportunity to bounce it and get to grass, he did a great job there. He made some people miss too, which is really important. It's going to be important in this ball game too, as they load the box and make it difficult to run.
Coach, 2 questions about the receivers. looked like Bayless was more inside this week. Did you like what you got there? And two, it looked like your rotation was smaller this week at receiver. Was that by design or is that circumstances of the game?
A lot of the rotation was just based on circumstances of the game and how the game ended up playing out. Believe that we have depth and have the ability to play multiple guys at multiple spots. Bayless, getting him inside was the opportunity to get him more touches. Thought he did a really good job inside. He did a good job on our pass game, understanding where he needed to be. Thought he did a good job on a couple option routes and did a really good job with the ball in his hands.
Coach, I think Christian Charles started the game, but we didn't see him, I think, on defense after that. What was kind of the reason for that?
Yeah, just got injured early in the football game. Thought he would have the opportunity to return. We decided not to. As the game unfolded, there were a handful of guys that you saw early that maybe didn't finish. We'll see where those guys are at as we go through the week.
And second question, with Ollie Lane, you got the start, I think, against Pittsburgh and kind of got back in the starting lineup this week. Kind of what did you see from him on Saturday, and kind of how has he grown over the course of the first part of the season?
I think he's getting more confident in being out there and playing more reps. I think he's playing at a better level too, just fundamentally in technique and opportunity on the field. Typically will lend to some growth during game time too, like what we saw this past Saturday.
Go to the back with Tim and Matt.
Coach, Cade Mays was named the offensive lineman of the week in the SEC. What did you see from him on Saturday?
Congratulations to Cade. Didn't know that. It's a guy that, man, is playing better and better every single week. I think from a year ago, just coming in and watching him on video and then watching him in the offseason, guy that's really reshaped his body, just the ability to bend and play with, great power, functional strength at the offensive line position. I think he's playing his best football right now. He's been healthy, and he's a guy that's got great understanding. If you're up near the line of scrimmage during practice, you're going to hear him communicating with his guard and sometimes his center. He's got a great understanding of how all of it plays in together.
Coach cleaned up penalties on Saturday, only had 2 for 20 yards. When it comes specifically to just controlling the pace and the flow of how you want to play, how important was that?
Penalties change the game, typically in a very negative way. When they're on you. It changes the way, the situational calls that you're in, whether it's second and long or being in third and long, advantage to the other side of the football. Being able to play in rhythm is really important for us as well. The stress of the tempo, obviously that's not there when you're coming off of a penalty. So you put all those things together, it's important for offensive football. But you look at the past couple of games when we had a large amount of penalties, some of that's on special teams, some of that's on defense too, and we were able to play ahead of the chains or on our terms for most of the football game in all 3 phases.
Coach, given Saturday's game and where you are at this point in the season, how does that impact your expectations for the rest of the way out?
Doesn't. College football is a game of 12 weeks, but it's a 1-week season every single week. Talk to the football team about that. If you try to compare and contrast scores from week to week, none of it's going to make any sense. Man, it's about your same competitive spirit, competitive composure when you get out there. It's about your process leading up to kickoff. If we continue to grow in that, that will lend itself to better and better results as we go through the season.
And I noticed the OR was off of the quarterback depth chart. Is Hooker actually the one?
Hendon will be the one this week, yes.
At UCF, you coached a team that was undefeated in the regular season. These guys did not win much last year. Should a team react differently to winning depending on whether they're used to it or not?
They pay attention to the outside noise, positive or negative. They're letting circumstances, control who they are on a daily basis that have no bearing of what's going to happen in a competitive environment. For your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your dog, right? They get to talk about what happened the previous week. As a competitor, the tough thing and the great thing is that when you come back in the building, man, it's on to the next one, and the only thing that matters is the next one. So we're only as good as we are next Saturday, 12 o'clock against South Carolina. I think our kids are buying into that. That's why our preparation has gotten better. Not where it needs to be, but it's gotten better. And if we're consistent in our growth in that, then we got a chance.
Three more, Rob, Eric, and Wes.
Coach, I'm not an NFL scout, but you probably don't have the most talented front seven in this league, but the run numbers have been really good, with the exception of Florida. Can you just talk about the job Coach Banks is doing and how you guys are getting that done?
Yeah, defensive staff has done a phenomenal job, starting with Coach Banks. His ability to get buy-in from his players, trust from his players is where everything starts in the whole process. But then his ability to be multiple, with what we're doing on all three levels of the defense, from front to the alignments in the second level to our coverages on the third level, and being able to incorporate it and teach it in a way where kids understand it and can reason it out as things change with what the pictures you're seeing on the offensive side of the football. Sounds easy, it's really difficult. The ability of all of our coaches to be great teachers and to allow our players to understand the fundamentals and technique that we want to play with. It's a unique group over there on the defense side of the ball. They've done a phenomenal job, starting with Coach Banks, but to the assistant coaches as well.
Right here, Josh. Charles got the start. Samari McDonald played a lot. Danica Slaughter played a lot as well. Yeah, how important was it to get those guys a lot of reps in the back end? What did you think about their performance?
Great to get them a bunch of reps. It's got to be next man up at any position group, right? I talked about that week one. It plays out as the season unfolds, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You better be ready to smash your opportunity when it comes. Those two guys have done a really good job with the opportunities that they've gotten. I thought Nico played, seamless throughout the course of the day. T-Mac did a lot of really positive things on the back end. There's a couple of things that he can do better with his eyes. But for young players, I thought there was a lot of positives and a lot of growth.
Finish with Wes.
Josh, it's been a couple weeks in a row now where there's been, either a small breakdown or a big breakdown on special teams, and that's something that wasn't there earlier in the year. Is that just the flow of the season? Sometimes you get into a little bit of a rut there, or what can get cleaned up there?
Doesn't matter, right? There's no asterisks next to a play that said, this is the third team, kickoff cover guy that's on there. End of the day, we can be better than we were last Saturday, and we need to be. For us as a program, it's a phase of the game that we have to win. We've shown that we're capable of it. We got to be better.
All right, thank you, Coach. We're going to do Ollie up here. So, guys,
Have a great afternoon. We'll see y'all Thursday.